everyone, welcome to Dr. Prim's Thought Space. I am Primrose Jikomborero Joylene Bima, and I create content about research, career development, and wellness. To those of you who have been following me, you might have realized that I have been missing in action. And that is because I have been extremely busy, and that this business was actually unanticipated. But we thank God for progress, and we thank God for the milestones that I have achieved thus far. I hope that you've been well. I hope that the first half of 2025 treated you well, and that you are ready to conquer the next few months. I think we have now almost 5 months left of the year 2025. For me, things took a very different turn in a very interesting way. However, that is not the main purpose of this video. I will be turning 33 on the 1st of August. I was born in the year of 1992, and I just thought I should share reflections about what I've learned. Not even as 33 things I've learned in 33 years, or 33 wiser and better, but to just share with you the point that I have reached and how I'm doing things differently based on how life has been shifting. So I've got here about 5 or 6 bullet points, and they encapsulate what I can say are key learnings from life overall, but probably mainly lessons I have learned over the past decade. And thinking back to where I was, let's say in the year 2015, I was doing my honors in gender and transformation at the University of Cape Town. I knew that I wanted to do a master's in international relations and still had very high hopes that whatever career trajectory that I would follow would lead me to work for the United Nations or another international organization. And at that point, although I knew that I also wanted to end up pursuing a PhD, I didn't even know that my PhD topic would be on the resolution of electoral conflicts. I didn't even know that my master's dissertation was going to be on a project called the Zimbabwe Special Permit. So thinking back, I'm like, I knew the degrees I wanted to do in future after my honors, but I did not have a research plan or a research career trajectory, in as much as I knew that I loved research, that I wanted to do policy research, and that I wanted to do work that is linked to international relations and politics. So, yeah, do I wish that I had a plan? I don't necessarily think so, because more often than not, we work based on exposure, and sometimes our interests are shaped as we are on the journey. So, for example, I did get into an honors in gender and transformation. The aim was to do work on gender and development. There was no one to supervise a research project on that. And so I even ended up doing, for example, a research project on women who've made the decision to not have children. Interesting as it was, but obviously it wasn't going to be part of like my bigger plan when it comes to my research career or even just career development overall. So it just became one of those projects you undertake to gain experience in doing research and also to get your degree, get out of that degree with very high marks that get you to a master's. So in terms of how my career turned out afterwards, I, of course, ended up doing my master's in international relations and my PhD in political studies. And before my PhD, I did manage to work in a non-governmental organization. I also managed to work in a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so I then also got government experience. And I let the government job experience go because I wanted to do my PhD and I couldn't do both at the same time. And as much as I keep on saying that was not a painless decision, I always think about why I left then. I always think about why didn't I just pursue that career and then look for my own money to do my own PhD at my own time, as opposed to rushing into a PhD because funding is still available and because my master supervisor had availed himself to supervise me. But I have no regrets when it comes to actually doing my PhD under his supervision. So I think that was a timely decision. And being under the leadership of someone who's done research and supervision and teaching on African politics, on African international relations, I deserved the best when it comes to supervision and academic mentoring, as well as, just shaping my career trajectory. Now, what I never thought about when I was younger then is who is going to be my career coach and how do I strategically map where I want to go. It's so easy when you're in academia and under an academic mentor or supervisor to just now start aspiring towards becoming an academic yourself, one day becoming a professor like they are, and they have the skills to prune you for that, but they may not have, if they didn't have the experience themselves, especially the capacity to groom you for the world, for anything, or for anything that is different. So I think over the years, God has then taken responsibility for that without me actually realizing it. So I left academia at the end of 2024, which meant that I now had to find a way to thrive in life. And in the absence of connections or networks outside academia, I had to chart a path for myself. Fortunately, I'd done a lot when it came to, my research consultancy, working as a rapporteur, doing research work for different organizations, and also just attending workshops, applying for workshops. Also, some, you have to qualify, and then networking through those channels. I think that really helped me and helps to get me in one foot outside academia. So that now has culminated in the kind of work that I'm now doing. And as opposed to running my own, solo entrepreneurship business wise, I wanted to set up a consultancy this year. I ended up getting into a role that demands that I dedicate most, if not all, of my time to it. So what this has taught me is that career turns always happen. Some will surprise you, and that everything you do is building onto what you can do next. And while you might worry so much about not having a career plan that is, set in stone and that, is unfolding as you had wished. For example, with me, I'm not a lecturer in a university, which is what I thought would most likely be my space. It's okay to let God do something for you. And it's okay also to have an open mind, because when I was approached to do this kind of work, I was like, me? What about all these academic positions I hope to get that I'm applying for? What about, this consultancy that I'm setting up? So obviously when you move into a world of work, which is something I know from my past, working in government, for example, you're following the agenda of the government and the work that is being done there. If you're working for an NGO, also they have a mission and a vision and what they want to achieve, and you focus on their project goals. And so obviously now working and having to learn a new space, I have had to change when it comes to my career trajectory. Now, I do think that what has been missing, for example, is career coaching, and I'm still seeking someone that can assist me with that. I have been to someone last year, but maybe we were not like a very good match. It's pretty much like when you're looking for a therapist, it might take a while to get someone that you think you want to consult with on an ongoing basis. I have also realized that how I've moved in life is based a lot on cultural learnings. I think that I have this innate posture that makes me a person that focuses a lot on, subsistence. So subsistence is you are just focusing on how to make money to be able to live, and that is enough. And also subsistence often drives you to work for people, and also if you start your own thing, it's usually very, very small, just for your own sufficiency. But moving into a world where you are in a firm or a business and seeing how people think and how people act and how we pursue a lot of targets and you're on the job for most of the time has made me realize how much I was in a small cocoon of comfort. In as much as you think I'm a goal getter, I've done all this and achieved a lot by 33. I think that I have this subsistence mindset that I have to change. I do believe that if I don't change this, I won't be able to reimagine success beyond, what a university can offer me. I won't be able to imagine success beyond I can just have a few clients and survive and then, life is life. So I think dreaming bigger and also realizing that in as much as we plan when we are younger, we need to plan as we go as well because things change and we also need to embrace shifts. I would have spent most of my time this year wallowing over the reality that I'm not going to be in academia, at least for the short run, and also wallowing about the fact that, international organizations are going through a phase where there's defunding, people are losing their jobs, and here I am hoping to get jobs in the same spaces. So I think that the ongoing learning process has been quite interesting. Okay, so before I lose track of my thoughts, I spoke about letting God. I've spoken about needing mentorship. I've spoken about cultural and learning. I've spoken about ongoing learning. I think another important aspect of my, sharing today is just having an attitude of grace and gratitude. Grace, God gives it to us, and we need to extend it to others as well, and to extend it to ourselves as well. So don't be too hard on yourself for not being where you thought you would be at a particular time. So when it comes to grace and gratitude, extending grace to myself has led me to think and continuously remind myself that I am not where I thought I would be, but I am where I need to be based on God's direction, God's redirection, and also multiple fruit of grace. And I can't claim that I have done X, Y, and Z. That's why I am here, which is often the tone of my videos. So I just wanted to share this side of me to say that God also has his own ways of pushing you through life and into different directions. And also the importance of pit stops. Pit stops, is where you stop and you're refueling yourself. And refueling requires time for reflection. Refueling requires time for learning new skills. Refueling also requires time for literally sitting down and planning. And I think it's a space that requires you to have serenity. I put a lot of emphasis on this, serenity, peace of mind. Because when you're thinking a lot, when you are stressed about all the rejections in your mailbox, when you're stressed about not being where you were supposed to be or thought you were supposed to be, you block yourself from being able to think. So taking time to stop, meditate or pray and actually think in silence, write down what you've done, what has been amazing about it. When I write down what I've done, I usually do not do that. And I tend to forget to do checklists of my successes. So, for example, I was thinking about 2025 and wallowing about, oh no, I wanted to start my own consultancy. Now I'm here, I'm working for an organization. What have I done so far? It's like 2025 hasn't been so good. Now I'm looking back and I was thinking in silence and reflecting deliberately and realizing that I've got 2 publications that are out. I've got 1 technical report that is also published, all from this year, 2025. It's only been 7 months, and I think for me, that is quite a lot when it comes to thinking about myself as a career development and research expert. And of course, yes, I haven't done much on my YouTube channel when it comes to content, but I have done a course on, digital marketing, honing new skills, and I'm now in a role where I'm a digital media manager. And that is me actually, developing those skills further and earning experience in a different field. So I've done a lot. Yet when I was in January, a lot to me meant getting started in terms of my consultancy, applying, for many grants and then hoping to get those grants and then getting the grants. So thinking about how successes can differ to what you thought they would look like. And also it's wrong to then crucify yourself to say, well, I had resolutions, I did not achieve them. So I think it's good to keep an open mind and to appreciate yourself for the successes, even if they don't look like the successes you anticipated. And as I said earlier, life is a series of lessons. In Shona, we say, kudzidza hakuperi, learning never ends. And learning doesn't have to be in a lecture room or a classroom. So yeah, this is it from a girl who's turning 33 soon. This girl wanted to celebrate her birthday in a particular way, but I don't think I'll be able to do so because I'll probably be somewhere at work. But I will definitely plan and, make sure that I do share memories from when I end up celebrating my birthday, probably at the end of the year. But obviously, life is celebrated every day. That's the one last point I wanted to make, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. And even if tomorrow is guaranteed, how do you appreciate tomorrow if you cannot appreciate today? So that's it from me for now. I hope that I'll still be able to share some content with you in the coming months. This is also me notifying you that I won't be, publishing videos every Sunday or every week or every second week. I will be here when I can. And let's, keep in touch via email if you want to do any work with me. My email address is pzjbimha@gmail.com. That is pzjbimha@gmail.com. Thank you for watching this one. If you've not subscribed, please consider doing so. And as usual, I encourage you to share this video widely, obviously for wider reach and more subscribers, so that we continue to grow into the future, wiser and together developing our career trajectories. It's goodbye for now.